Remember, Allah is called the great deceiver.
That's what he's called.
Chapter 3, verse 54.
Taqiyya is a concept that they try to defend that, George, but taqiyya is the idea that you can deceive or lie to people to further the Islamic movement. Now they're
explain that though, because I think this has been a conversation that I've had. How do they try to defend it?
Well, I mean, the apologists, they will defend it. Give them their.
So I think that you got to go back. So Nico and I have been kind of parked in the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th centuries and so forth. And then you actually get to the modern world, like how we got here. Because in the 20th century, the Ottoman Empire, which was the latest really sort of representation of an organized Islamic state in the Ottoman Empire, which really died off in 1924 in the aftermath of World War I. So the Ottoman Empire fell apart. And then in literally a couple of years later, a few years, I think it was I know it was in 1928, you had the formation of the Muslim Brotherhood. Ever hear of the Muslim Brotherhood? Okay, they are really the sort of the philosophical branch of Hamas. Yeah. So the Muslim Brotherhood said, well, obviously militancy isn't going to work. It's kind of like what communism did in the aftermath of the fall of the Berlin Wall. They're not going to conquer America with guns and tanks, obviously. So how are we going to do this? And it was brilliant, and it's been brilliant, and that's been the plan. The plan has been, let's go into Western culture and gut the culture. Let's go in and take and lay siege over the institutions. We are going to use them against them. So when we're talking about cultural jihad, that's what we mean. Jihad, of course, meaning holy war. The Muslim apologist, I think, rather foolishly says, well, that's an internal struggle.
Right.
And the reality is that's clearly, and I mean this, clearly not it. Wherever jihad is mentioned in the traditional books, at least in the context of Sharia, it's about dominating those who are not on board. That's a fact of life. The most authoritative hadiths, the Sahih al-Muslim and the Sahih al-Bukhari, every context of jihad is rarely, and I mean rarely, in the context of some sort of personal struggle with Allah to be a better Muslim. I'm not saying that that's not all the case. I'm saying that the dominant view and practice of jihad is a militant posture. And so jihad in the Western culture, really since 1928, has been to gut our institutions, to gut our own laws, to gut our own Bill of Rights, religious protection.
Yeah, of course.
The idea of the freedom of religious expression in the public square.
To destroy the country, right?
And
ironically.
you've seen these destructions throughout the Western culture, and predominantly in the UK. And tell people what the United Kingdom is, because I think geography might be a little lacking in America here about what the UK is. It's really 4 entities, right?
Scotland, England, Northern Ireland, and Wales.
There it is.
But they won't. That will, without a miracle and move of God, the UK will never go back to what it was.
God, that's so sad.
It will never
Should
go
we be
back.
looking at the UK of what? And I don't mean to lead you if you disagree.
Why do you
just
say
stop
that?
me.
It's so far gone, Nico. Like, it is. When I say jaw dropping at the beginning, it is so far different to the country that I left as an 18. So you're talking 22 years is not that long a time. I mean, in the grand scheme of things.
No,
so for it to change so quickly literally blew my mind. And the British people, they are now feeling kind of like overtaken, and they're not heard. And that's where I was going to get to is like Prince Charles. I don't know if you've been aware of that. Like, changed the statement of faith. Like, I mean, it is
absurd.
It is unbelievable what is happening.
Talk about that, please, because I want people to understand. He's the head of the Anglican Church,
Yeah,
right?
Church
the Church
of
of
England.
Got it.
And
therefore,
defender of all. He's now saying he's a defender of all faiths. I mean,
Not just Christianity.
not just
but
Christianity.
he's supposed to be the defender of the faith,
Absolutely.
of the Christian, the unabashed defender of the Christian
Which,
faith.
when he took the throne, whatever you want to call it, is what he said he would do.
So he's adopted multiculturalism.
Yeah, 100%.
I was going to ask, do you? I don't mean to lead you, and if you disagree, please stop me and correct me.
Are you allowed to disagree on this?
I don't. Please, are you kidding me?
You want to get us to disagree again?
Do you
Don
think
King?
that we ought to look at the United Kingdom and conceive that may come to the United States?
Oh yeah, I think the only difference between the United Kingdom and this is why I'm so passionate about it. I've got 4 kids, and somebody wrote to me recently, said, "Hey, you're not even American. Don't basically you don't have a vote in this." And I said, "I've got 4 kids who grew up in this country, so whether you like it or not, I'll have a voice in it." And that's my worry, is that the next generation will live in the world that we leave them.
Yes.
And I've got 4 kids, so I think the only difference in them growing up here in Texas and growing up in Scotland is the size. So it may take a little bit longer because of the United States, the size of the United States compared to the United Kingdom. But it's happened so quickly that I think we're well on the road to that. I think if we don't see it, I cannot unsee what I saw.
Is it the increasing censorship, the stuff that we read about, increasing censorship and coercion and maybe harassment of people, native Scots?
I mean, I don't even know that I could explain it enough. Like it is so overwhelming. I think number one, it's like it's almost like United States to me. It's almost apologizing for being a Christian. I think people don't understand you protect what you love. So it's like if you've got any kind of fear, you're now labeled a racist, you're labeled Islamophobic. It's like, no, like I just want to friggin' That's why I lock my door.
What's the greatest fear in your view that's moving them to do that? Because Scots are, I don't know, they're not exactly wallflowers.
I think you can't. What do you? This is what I was going to ask, and I think it will hopefully come to answer your question is how do you resist it? So I don't know that they know how to resist it because the government is allowing so many people to come in. I mean, if you look at it, George, and I did very basic research on this, the average or the regular person who's worked their life in the UK gets £12,500, I believe, in retirement. We call it a pension in Scotland. Mm-hmm. On the taxpayer for the immigrant coming into the UK is around £41,000 a year. Well, the math ain't mathing. So somebody's given their life to this country and they're getting, my mom is there getting $12,500 a year after working in a care home, lifting old people, taking care of, fellow citizens, loving people. And then somebody comes in illegally and is, whatever way they seek asylum or whatever.
And then fully stay subsidized.
Yeah, they're getting hotels, they're getting food, so that's a different argument altogether, but it's such a big problem. And I'm trying to give context because people can take that out of context, say you're against immigration. And I make no apologies for saying I think we should vet everybody who comes into the country. But
why wouldn't you? We vet people that come into our home.
I know, but people...
the hypocrisy is insane to me.
You're an immigrant.
100%.
Okay, so I'm an immigrant.
Are you a citizen yet?
No, green card. I need to be.
I'm going to call the ICE real quick.
Yeah.
Can you do the 100 number?
Green card holder.
No.
Yeah.
You're legit.
Yeah. Yeah, I got
well, this
it.
guy's you're passionate. Your family's passionate about it because you guys came over from South Africa, not South Africa, from Angola.
From Angola, Central West Africa, in the aftermath of civil war.
The point that I'm making though, so many people are coming. I think they've got so many fights. They're like, what do we do? So here's the question: is what is the threat of Islam?
Mm-hmm. That's the question.
And how do we resist it?
Okay, I'll answer that a little bit, and then I want to talk about. Because you mentioned communism and Islam and using similar tactics, so I want to talk about
collectivism.
Yuri Bezmenov.
You don't get to be an individual.
You know, we've brought him up many times before.
You don't get to be an individual.
That's right. Well, let's talk about it now then, because I don't remember what I was going to say. So the force. I mean, what were you saying before?
What is the threat of Islam?
Thank you. Okay, so thank you for that.
But let me just clarify, Nico. To the average person that I'm speaking to, and I'm not saying I'm saying average as far as knowledge on Islam. Like, what's the big deal?
Islam, number one, is an imperialistic ideology, meaning that they're trying to establish one caliphate, one government under one caliph, and they live in peace with you as long as you submit to them. That's exactly what it means in Islam. So, and then when they implement Sharia, there's no freedom in that. The exchange that we had, the disagreement, protests, even though I'm a Christ follower, I don't support the LGBT movement per se, but I love people in the LGBT community. And I pray for them, and I'm going to be there for them. I'm going to protect them, defend them, stand in front of them, not let anybody hurt them. That's not the way it is over there. You can't have a protest. You can't have a march. You can't have an opinion. You can't disagree. You can't criticize the government. None of that. None of that works. And then if you're a woman, and this is under Sharia, you are chattel. You're chattel. You're your property. A woman doesn't have the right to vote. A woman can't inherit property. A woman cannot divorce a man unilaterally. A woman cannot have multiple husbands. He can have multiple wives. A woman cannot testify on her own rape trial. If she's accusing someone of sexual assault, she has to have the witnesses of two what? Men. And she can't testify. So her opinion is nothing. And then not to mention, you know why they cover up the burqas now? Is because they're tempting the men. And how dare you tempt them? And if you tempt me and then I take advantage of you, or I take what's mine or my urges, well, that's on you. And then they're the ones punished for it. It's absolutely illogical.
It's presented as modesty, but it's not. It's more
It's
than
not modesty.
It's the literally erasing of the entire
Women
person.
look. I mean, and this is the problem with our society. I mean, we should be able to acknowledge the beauty of a woman without objectifying her and without saying that, sexualizing her. I mean, and that's obviously when you're younger, you don't have as much control, and you're full of hormones and all the other bullshit. But all I'm saying is, they say I can't control myself because there's no set of moral standards because a woman's value is lower. There's not an imago Dei on a woman, an image bearer. In the Christian, women are image bearers. I mean, and so when you talk about true misogyny, I mean, objectively, again, this is not. I'm just studying ideas. Ideas have consequences.
Yeah.
And not all ideas are the same. So you have this imperialistic mindset.
Yeah.
There's not peaceful coexistence. That's why countries like Japan, Poland, other countries are saying, screw this shit. You're gone. We're not going to do this anymore. There's a lot of countries, and it shouldn't have to get that way because so many cultures have been destroyed because of it. Because there's no peaceful existence with actual true Islam. There's not.
And to your point, I was in Poland last year, in the comparison between Poland and the UK.
I mean, this is where it is. And so to George's point earlier, when communism fell, they said, well, shit, we can't go back trying to conquer people with force anymore. So Yuri Bezmenov, and there's a famous, maybe some of the people that have watched have seen it, famous interview in, ironically, 1984, right? He gives this, and he talks about
I believe he's a former state operative in a Russian state operative, KGB.
Okay, so this knows what he's talking about. He talks about the 4 stages to ideological subversion, to a civil war with ideas. And there's 4 stages. One of them is demoralization. You work very hard to demoralize, take away the moral compass of a society. Back then, he used to say it takes 15 to 20 years. And in 1984, if you find, it's on YouTube, you can find the interview. He says in 1984 that America was satisfactorily demoralized. Back then. Where the hell do you think we are now? Number 2, destabilization. He says it usually takes 2 to 5 years. Economy, foreign relations, defense systems. In today's world, you can destabilize in minutes, in hours, in a day. I mean, forget about 2 to 5 years. But then there's there's demoralization. So now you've kind of tenderized the meat, so to speak. Yeah. And then you destabilize it. And then there has to be a crisis. I mean, it can take up to only 6 weeks back then. It can take 6 minutes today. So then now there's a crisis. So you demoralize, you destabilize, and then now you have a crisis. And then what do you have? Then you have normalization. We heard this during different seasons we've been through lately in the last 6 years. That's just the new normal. Yeah. Because now you're demoralized, you're destabilized, there's a crisis, big government comes in to satisfy that crisis, and now this is just the new normal, and we're going to take care of things from now on out. Now that's how communism worked. Islam is using a very similar game plan.
Because it's totalitarian.
Explain what that means, George, so people understand.
Totalitarian movements, for instance, George Orwell's 1984 is a totalitarian novel. It's a political system that seems to attempts to totally subjugate the human being. It's a control of your entire faculties, the way you think. It's thought control, literally down to your thoughts. And so it creates a framework by which you can be controlled, like all of you, everything you think, not just what you do, but everything that you think. It's totalitarian. It's not just tyrannical. It's just utterly consuming. And so it's a totalitarian view because there is no individualism. That's the point. That's why I use the word collectivism, because and communism is collectivist. The state makes the call. You are a ward of the state. You deviate from that, and there are serious consequences. And there's consequences. I mean, and there have been consequences to people who refuse to comply, and those consequences are as follows: you can either die, you can pay a punitive tax,
jizya, right?
A jizya, or it's either death or a tax, or there's some sort of act in between that's punitive in nature.
Or you can conform.
You can always convert.
Convert.
Yeah, of course. But in terms of very good point. But in terms of consequences, you might end up incarcerated. You may not die, but you may end up incarcerated or beaten.